Greetings, ocean lovers. Thanks for joining us on this live stream exploration of the levels of the ocean. I'm joined here with Professor Nikita, Professor Rajula, and Professor Pranav, and I'm your host, Arthi. They're all experts on oceanic studies at universities from across the world. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, modern ocean exploration really only started in 1807 with President Jefferson's authorization of a survey along the coast. Today, we descend to the depths of the ocean with a guided tour and information from our guests. We're starting our descent now, and Professor Nikita, what are we seeing here?
We're here at the epipelagic zone, which ranges from the surface to 200 meters deep. The temperature can range from as high as 97 degrees Fahrenheit to 28 degrees near the North Pole. This is where the most light reaches, and therefore the most amount of heat. Photosynthesis takes place here, and you can find free-floating algae, which is seaweed, photoplankton, flowering plants, but also some of the ocean's most recognizable creatures, such as sharks, jellyfish, seals, and turtles. Fun fact, some of the animals in this zone have countershading. It's when an animal is light on its underside and dark on its upper parts. So when a predator looks down at a countershaded animal, it blends into the darker waters. When a predator looks down at the countershaded animal from below, the light underbelly disappears into the light.
We're now at 200 meters. Professor Rajula, what's occurring here?
We're now at the mesopelagic zone. The mesopelagic zone ranges from 200 to 1,000 meters. Here you can only see a faint amount of light. The temperatures are cold, and as you go deeper down, it becomes even colder. The pressure is high and can be up to 1,770 psi. The amount of dissolved oxygen is also very little, below 500 meters. This is also the start where you can find bioluminescent creatures. Here you can find squid, cuttlefish, eels, and a variety of other fish.
Look, it's an anglerfish. We've reached the midnight zone, otherwise known as the bathypelagic zone. According to National Geographic, there are more than 200 species of just anglerfish. They use an orb of light to lure fish into their huge mouths. This zone, the bathypelagic zone, spreads from 1,000 to 4,000 meters below the surface. Sunlight does not penetrate this zone. Therefore, life here has to adapt to darkness and cold temperatures. The average temperature here is about 39 degrees Fahrenheit. These are difficult conditions to live in, and the bathypelagic zone contains only around half as many species present near the surface. Because there's no light, there is no photosynthesis, and many fish actually don't have eyes. Those that do, however, are lured by fish that possess bioluminescent properties. Fish in this level also lack the bright colors you see in many of the fish that inhabit higher levels of the sea, since there are few organisms with eyes and light to see it.
And now we're at 4,000 feet. Professor Pranav, tell us about what happens here.
Thank you, Arthi. We're now at the abyssal zone. Abyss means bottomless in Greek. And at the depths of 4,000 to 6,000 meters, this zone remains in perpetual darkness, which is how the zone gets its name. According to Rob Nelson, in an article called Deep Sea Biome published in 2009, these regions are characterized by continuous cold from 36 to 37 Fahrenheit and lack of nutrients. Abyssal fauna includes several kinds of worm and fish. These animals face high pressures, darkness, calm water, and soft sediment bottoms and tend to be gray or black and delicately structured. Humans haven't ventured into the abyssal region much except to set the world record for deepest dives, but rarely for scientific exploration. However, the use of remote-operated vehicles or ROVs are popular for researchers in this field. As bleak as the abyssal region sounds, there's a large part of the oceans that lie below it.
We're at the last zone. Now we're going to dive into the deepest and by far most mysterious oceanic zone, the hypopelagic zone, also known as the trenches. This zone can be found 6,000 to 11,000 meters below the surface. There are 46 individual hadal habitats in total. The total area of the hadal zone is less than 0.2% of the entire seafloor, but accounts for 45% of the total depth range. According to the International Business Times, another unique characteristic about the trenches is that no light reaches so deep into the ocean, so there are no plants present. At this point, you may be wondering, well, if there's no light or plants down there, what kind of creatures could possibly be living there? Well, there's a large variety of creatures that can be found, such as large tube worms and crust eels, all of which have managed to survive under the crushing pressure of 1,000 standard atmospheres and frigid cold temperatures.
So, we've reached the end of our exploration. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. We'll see you on our next adventure.